Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to review factoring special forms. And in this chart, you will see the special product formulas. And in this particular video, we're going to focus on the first three that are in the chart. And later down the road, we will discuss some of the other ones that are down at the bottom there. But for this video, what we're going to do is we're going to think about how we can actually go from this right side back to the left side. Okay, so we are going to start with the answer, so to speak, and then work backwards to get to the question. All right, so if you look at this first example here, x squared minus 49, what we have is that first pattern, which is the difference of two squares. Okay, so it's this first pattern here, the difference of two squares. And you want to think about that you have x being squared and that you have 7 being squared, and you have a subtraction in between. So when you have this pattern, this is going to factor to two binomials. You want to take your x and you're going to put it in the front of each of those binomials. Okay. So I'm going to have an x and an x. And then you want to take this 7 and you're going to put it in the back of each of those binomials. And then you give one a plus and you give one a minus, and you have that factored. That is the factored answer, okay? So essentially, like I said before, we are starting with the right side and working to get to this left side, which is the factored form, okay? So let's do another example here. The second one, you have a number being squared, you have a 3 being squared, and you have a 5y being squared, and you have subtraction. So you have met all three conditions. Once again, you're going to have two binomials. This 3 is going to go in the front of each of those binomials. So you're going to have a 3 and a 3. And then this 5y is going to go in the back of each of those binomials. Whoops, erase my y there. Let me put that back. Okay, so 5y and 5y. You give one a plus, you give one a minus, and you are factored. Okay, so these are pretty easy if you know what to look for. Okay, if you look at number 3, we have a trinomial. Okay, so you see we got a trinomial down here. And it actually fits this pattern here, and we're going to factor that to the square of a sum. Okay, so let's talk about how you know it fits that pattern. So you have an x being squared here on the front. You have a 5 being squared on the back. And in the middle here, I can do 2 times x times 5 and get that 10x, okay, and I have a plus and a plus. So that's all the conditions of this right side here, okay, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, all right? So if we've met all those conditions, then we can go straight to the factorization, which will be x plus 5 squared. Okay, and then you are factored. You can also just write that as x plus 5 times x plus 5 if you would like to. That means the same thing. But the most condensed version is the x plus 5 squared. Okay? So if you look at this number 4 here, we have a 2y being squared on the front. We have a 7 being squared on the back. And in the middle here, we have 2 times 2y times 7, okay? And we have a subtraction, and then we have a plus, okay? And so if you'll look up here, let's see here. If you look at this trinomial, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, we have that pattern, which means we can factor that as the square of a difference. Okay, so I'm going to take that 2y and I'm going to put in the subtraction, the 7, and the square, and that is the factored form. Okay, so here you're basically just looking for those patterns, okay, and if you have that pattern, then you can go straight to a factorization answer, okay. Now lastly, if you look at this number 5 here, a lot of students will look at this and say, oh, we have a pattern, so I have a 4x being squared, I have a 9 being squared, all right, and so they're thinking, right, they're thinking that they have this first pattern right here, but this first pattern has a subtraction, so it's really important that you only use that pattern when you have subtraction, okay, so this one has the plus sign right here, and so it's not subtraction, obviously, so we cannot do this. We cannot say 4x plus 9, 4x minus 9, okay, so we cannot do that. It does not factor to that, okay. In fact, this is what we would call a prime binomial, which means it doesn't factor down. So this 16x squared plus 81 is, that's as good as it gets as far as that one. You cannot break that down into a factorization. Okay. All right. I hope this helped to review some skills for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.